when we were driving to the Martinez Brothers restaurant the other day, that song came on shuffle by what's his name, Rich Men North of Richmond, the hit viral
Yeah.
sensation. And we were talking about how, like, yeah, it's a great song. It's catchy. It, shows you what's going on in the world and the fact that people love it. But it's just basically enforcing this victim mentality. It's not about taking responsibility and like figuring out something for yourself. It's still a very fiat song in many ways.
Yeah, it promotes like self-defeatism, you know. It almost feels like learned helplessness, like, this is our situation and we're screwed and we're, you know, and what are we going to do about it? The Northmen from Richmond, they control everything. It was
Yeah.
just kind of like, it's not like your theme song that rallies the troops and says, let's change things. It's more like, hey, we're all down and depressed.
Well, and a song like that would never top the charts in the fiat paradigm because they wouldn't let it. Just like Hollywood movies, it's all like superhero, it's all like fantasy shit, happy ending. It's not real life at all.
That's right.
Romance movies, rom-coms are like, they get in a fight, like then they break up and they hate each other. It's like, well, why don't they just talk like adults about it? All the Hollywood, all this big mass media is all about just programming us to be continue to
NPCs.
be NPC victims caught in our emotion, no emotional intelligence. So the new paradigm, which is what Sovereignty Studios stands for, and to my point about the music, is like, well, why don't we write songs that preach, let's take responsibility for ourselves.
Yeah. And another thing, right? Daylight, right? That's another aspect about it too. Why don't we make products that actually enhance our health and our I don't know what else, energy,
Daylight Computer Company. Exactly. So blue light free computer. And the idea here, and they're building their own operating system that they call is going to be like a sovereign OS, where like, sure, you can still use these social media apps, but those are all designed to keep you doom scrolling. And a big part of doom scrolling has to do with the blue light's effect on your brain. So they're working on actually building bottom up technology to fix that as part of society. And like, they're just an indie startup, struggling to get their next fund. It's like Silicon Valley, the show.
Yeah, but this is the beginnings, I think, of a new social movement, a new parallel society where people are much more conscious of what they consume, not only physically but also mentally and spiritually. Where we're taking back our agency and our sovereignty and saying, hey, we're not just going to be part of the matrix. We're not going to be part of this centrally controlled and planned society that you got for us, right? That I see the world starting, not the world. Let me backtrack. I see a segment of the world, a segment of the population going down that route and actually, following through, right? Realigning their lives, reorienting themselves towards a lifestyle that that rejects a lot of the fakeness of the fiat paradigm and embraces a lot of the reality and the groundedness of this new, world built on a Bitcoin standard and sound money and sound values.
Yeah, and thanks to Bitcoin, it's possible to fund this stuff now. It's possible to create organizations that don't need to be centrally controlled or managed or owned. I think there's always a degree of centralization when it comes to like leadership, which is important, that you could actually have shares or what have you decentralized. And so it's thanks to Bitcoin that actually we can make this stuff happen. I mean, you think of, we talk about these big Bitcoin names. Imagine the wealth behind them. Imagine the wealth behind them when Bitcoin's at $1 million a coin. Like, we can start funding these operations, but where are the people actually doing the operations? And
Where are the builders, right?
And they exist. They're out there. But once again, coming back to Sovereignty Studios and, maybe organically this is just developing as that, but like, this is a place where people can connect. It's like, hey, I have this vision. I have this goal here that contributes to this new paradigm stuff.
And you know what? For a lot of people, they're just hearing this for the first time, this kind of idea for the first time. Like, being part of a organization with a mission, right? That goes beyond just making money, where it's not your typical process for getting hired or being integrated into it. I mean, that's the way we're approaching, building our team, and we need to grow. We're already getting so much work that we need positions to fill. But the way we do it is organically. Come join our community on school, start interacting with us, start providing value where you can. Start coming to our community calls. We have a community call every Thursday. Start getting to know us, and through that, through the initial relationship building, that's how you get in where you fit in. And I think it's a new way of doing things.
Yeah, it's similar to if you're on X or whatever and you want to make a name for yourself or get yourself known, you comment, you start providing value. It's like building a brand, except it's in a smaller venue where you'll be able to be seen a lot easier.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And the only thing on X is, like, I get the analogy and it's a great analogy, but there isn't spots to be filled, on there. It's not like a organization, or it's not like you're making providing value for an organization in which you can fit in and get in right away, as opposed to what I think we're trying to do here, where it's like, hey, we have spots to fill, come, like, show us. It's a merit-based system, come show us that you can fill that spot, and it's there for the taking.